Hello everybody, it's Fabi from The Next Big Rush, and we need to talk about Trump. Okay? We just have to. And it's not because, it's so bad that he's gonna become president. It's because people are so shocked that he won at the election that we really need to discuss this, okay? What does this have to do with investing and speculating? Well, everything. I'm not going to talk about what you should invest in with Trump in power, at least not on this video. I do have a few ideas that maybe we can discuss in one of my next videos. But if you're one of the people who were utterly shocked at the results, I'm not talking about disgusted, I'm talking about shocked, like you did not believe this could happen. I'm sorry to sound offensive, but maybe you need to become a better speculator. This has everything to do with how you risk your money in the markets. And let me tell you why. Well, there are many reasons as to why you shouldn't believe that Trump would have won the election, but those reasons are what the masses believe. And the real game that you're playing by being a speculator is observing the masses and trying to make educated guesses about where they're moving towards and away from. And if you master that ability, you will make so much money you won't know what to do with it. We talk about, reading balance sheets, taking a look at who's investing in what company, and we talk about supply and demand. That's all necessary, and we can talk more and more about that. But if you master where people are going to go, then those things become less and less important with time, and as long as the masses move in big enough quantities to make a difference. Let me tell you a few of the things that should have been a big red signal to you that Trump at least had a fair chance of winning, okay? I'm not gonna say, I knew that Trump would win. I didn't know for a fact, but I observed everybody saying, hey, he has no chance, and I thought, I think you're missing something here. And then what I did is I placed a small bet just for fun on Trump winning, and I made about, $100, okay? But it wasn't about the $100, it was more about watching people and then finding out where they are wrong in their thinking. That's the name of the game. Now, first of all, you could have said, hey, no, the whole media is pointing to Trump not winning because all the polls say otherwise. Okay, where do I start? If you're leaning on the media, on mainstream media, as we like to call it, to pick your investments, you're gonna lose a lot of money, okay? I was just messing around with my husband because I was saying, it's not a good thing to get money without earning it. I just didn't think that process was very healthy, and it doesn't educate you. And then he turned around and said, well, you just make money in the markets, you don't earn it. And then I said, okay, so how would you just make money in the markets? How would you pick your stocks? How would you go about it? And then he said, well, and he was messing around, obviously, because he knew that he was going to get told off. He said, well, I'll just go to Yahoo Finance and pick whatever companies are on the first page. This is a big no-no. Don't do that if you ever want to make money in the markets. So the media should really be a contrary indicator as to where the masses are going. And you just can't trust the media, and it's not because they're evil. I mean, in the case of the election, they really wanted Clinton to win. I'm not American, so I can say this, as an outsider. It was scary to me how much they were trying to pull Trump down. I mean, it's not like Trump needed to be talked about in a negative manner, because he does that to himself. If you just watch the videos, and I'm sorry if you're a Trump supporter, but there are things that he says that make people very angry. Like, you don't really need to add fuel to the fire. And then they were trying really hard to just say, hey, this guy is an idiot, this guy is this, look at what he said, look at how racist he is. And you just can't believe that stuff, okay? Reporters don't know anything. they don't know how to invest your money. So ignore the media or use it as a contrary indicator, if at all. In fact, there was, I think, gold way at the top in 2010 or 11 was the cover of a big magazine. Maybe it was Forbes, I can't remember exactly, but it was front page news. And after that, I think it continued its rally for about 3 months, and then it crashed. Okay, so when you see one of your investment theses become very popular, maybe it's time to get out. The other thing is that people thought, hey, no, he's not qualified. And you can take that thought and say, okay, so Trump is not qualified because he's not a politician and because he doesn't seem very smart, politically speaking. So people will be logical and they won't vote for this person. Well, that's not how human beings work, okay? The way that we work is somebody has something or claims to have something that we want, we gravitate towards them. In the same way, we can look at, for instance, balance sheets of any sort of company. And if we take a look at it and think, hey, this company is not doing very well. You know, maybe their burn rate is too high. They're burning too much money or spending too much. Maybe, you know, they're not collecting as much income as they should, or maybe they're going to need a new round of financing. You're thinking logically, and which is fine. You should do that. You should vet companies and not invest in them if you believe that they're not going to last. If you think a company's going to go bankrupt, then don't even look any further. Just forget about it. Cross it off your list. Move on. But to take that logical thought and expand it to the masses and say, hey, everybody else knows that this is bankrupt and so they won't invest in it, that's not really how it works. Look at all the pot companies that are having another revival, so to speak. A lot of them have nothing. A lot of those companies have no income. Some companies you'll see have no product. A lot of gold mining companies have 0 ounces of gold, okay? People see a stock going up and so they buy it because they want to get rich and they think that the going up phase will last forever. So yes, use the logic to protect your losses and make sure you're investing in good companies, but don't trust that others will do that as well. And some people are very good if they're trading short term in buying crappy companies, sorry, but this is true, and they wait for a small pop and get out of it very fast. It's not what I do right now, but it's doable, and you can make a lot of money doing that, especially as we speak in pot-related, cannabis-related companies. The other thing is, in order to have completely ignored the whole Trump chance of victory, is you would have had to ignore the trend, okay? There is a very clear trend towards doing away with the old politics, and just go to YouTube. Just look at the comments below. Just look at any other video. Look at Twitter. Just look at where people are going and see how much they hate politicians. See how much they hate big government right now. See how much they feel the pain in their pockets and they want to change things up. You know, if you didn't catch that, then you're not paying attention. I went on Twitter and I took a look at Trump's supporters or fans and then Hillary Clinton's, and I was like, okay, Hillary Clinton we know has a lot of pull with tech savvy millennial. That's just the truth. It's their demographics, okay, no pun intended. But she had fewer followers than he did. And then I thought, okay, so maybe it's just the fact that Trump is just an interesting person and people want to follow him because you just never know what's going to come out of Trump, right? It's just like every single thing that he says could become something really shocking or funny. So, okay. And then I took a look at the messages that they were, you know, tweeting and how many hearts and retweets each had. And I understand there are robots just retweeting and pumping out content for both camps, but if this is just about bots, then Trump's bots were way better at spreading content than Hillary's, okay? And so I looked at that and I'm like, okay, so the demographic is saying that there should be more of a Hillary movement, but it seems like Trump's messages are getting out there, and Trump's fans, a lot of them were like moms in the Midwest, right? And for that thing to be on Twitter, I thought, maybe something's up. Maybe there's just that many people who are so angry that they can't stop talking about Trump. It's hard to ignore. The last thing is passion. And I like to illustrate passion and motivation by talking about the good guy versus the bad guy, right? You always see this in movies or cop shows. There's a cop and some sort of criminal-ish person, and one is running after the other, right? Usually the bad guy running and a cop after him. And you usually see this in real life too, especially in reality shows. Most of the time, the bad guy gets away, at least in the beginning of the show, right? And then at the end, they get caught. But why is it that so often the bad guy gets away? I mean, is the bad guy better trained than the cop? Maybe it's the coffee and donuts. I don't know. But there's a real motivation difference in what those two people are doing. The cop is running after the guy because it's his job. Okay? He may have, yes, a very deep internal motivation to, catch the bad guy and do good to society and whatnot. But at the end of the day, he is running for something that will not really change his life in the long run. The bad guy is running for his life. It's about survival. The stakes are way higher. And so what happens is he's gonna give it his all. If you put bad guy and good guy side to side and they were both running for their lives, you'd see more, good cops catch the bad guys. But because their motivation is so different, that, this is gonna happen. And motivation really is so ingrained in us that you have to take a look at, hey, the people who are voting for Trump have a very strong motivation because they are so fed up with the system. If that's a thing or not, I don't know, but that's how people who support Trump would call it, that they are more motivated to get out of their houses and go and vote, because voting is not really mandatory in the US. Only the motivated people are going out to vote. We're going out to vote. So the people who wanted change really wanted change, and they were gonna go vote whether it was raining or snowing or whatever, right? So how does this apply to speculating and investing? Well, here's the thing. People become very passionate about certain investment classes that they really believe in, and that could be a little bit dangerous. Okay, so this is a what not to do sort of thing. So you have an investment, say you have gold stocks, and they've been working for you until, I don't know, August, right? And then they started to come down. Now, what will happen is that eventually, I think this is just a bump and that we're gonna go back up again very soon. But what will happen is eventually they are going to crash. Eventually, you're going to have to convert your shares into cash and sit on it, or maybe invest it straight away in something else. But you will have to sell those shares. If you fall in love with your shares and you don't really have an exit plan, you will get slaughtered if you're speculating. Okay, if you're investing for the long term in really good companies, then you're playing a different game. I'm speaking if you're really running the risk with these little speculation stocks. Okay, so watch yourself for passion and motivation. What's your passion? What's your motivation? Don't make it so that you don't really have a plan B. For example, let's say that you really believe that uranium is going to go to the moon, and I believe so. and that the few companies that are left in the space are gonna make an absolute killing. Great. What if they don't? What if something happens and your plan doesn't work out? Should you have invested all of your money in uranium only? Probably not. So it's a good idea to not just buy one company, and it's an even better idea to maybe diversify, you know, within a sort of theme. Okay, so I like resource stocks, but if I put it all in gold and gold takes longer, and say zinc takes off before gold, then, you know, I've missed a chance at the zinc place. You know, and there's no right or wrong. I'm just saying that maybe you should take a look at more than one commodity, because the whole cycle that you see up and down, it happens to almost all commodities, really. Well, you could say all of them, because they are so dependent on supply and demand curves that there's a chance to make money every time that they're down. They're gonna come back up again. And hey, coal is like so hot right now. The price, what, doubled, tripled for I think it was met coal. Anyway, I'm not an expert in coal. I did consider buying a company. This was so foolish of me. Here I am telling you all my war stories of stuff, money I didn't make, right? The money I made I keep quiet about, but the money I didn't make, I'm free to speak about. So there's this small coal company at 2 cents. I looked at it, I'm like, this looks cheap at 2 cents. It had previously been over $1. And then I didn't buy it, and right now it's at 12 cents last time I checked it, so I missed an opportunity. But nobody made a bet on coal, nobody but maybe Sprott, and they really know what they're doing. So think about all those things, think about other commodities that you can maybe get into, but always do your homework and take all of this that I said in mind. So sorry if I offended Trump supporters, and sorry if I offended non-Trump supporters. It's not really my plan. I just think that we should take a look at what the masses are doing, what they are likely to do next, and if your investments seem too logical and they don't depend on the craziness of masses, maybe you're missing out. All right? Thank you very much. That's it. If you like this video, hit like and also subscribe, because now that I'm back home, there's a lot more coming your way. Take care.